Targaryen dragons only get scarier, so say hello to Grammy war crimes herself, Vhagar! Yay! She's mean, she's green, and she is systematically destroying the Riverlands and its people in what are truly horrific war crimes. Woohoo! Seriously though, Mima, can you just go to sleep, please? Just go to sleep for a long time and leave the people alone. I know the Visenya cosplayer on your back is really throwing you off. You don't really know where you are or what you're doing, but it's bad. I promise you it's bad. Before we knew Vhagar as a peddler of war crimes, though, let's go over her history, which is long, really, really long, because Vhagar lived to be 181 years old. She old. Which is why the war crimes are a problem. She don't know where she is. She could be anywhere. She could be anywhere right now. She thinks that she is asleep in the dragon pit, and she's not, unfortunately. Anyway, Vhagar was born on Dragonstone in the year 54 BC. Remember, BC is before conquest, and on Dragonstone, which was the seat of House Targaryen, really the entire time that they were in power. From the time that they left Old Valyria, like 12 years before the Doom, up until Robert Baratheon went, "You get out of here." That was a dumb joke. But Vhagar was born during what is called the Century of Blood, because remember, the Targaryens, they left Old Valyria, and then they just stayed on Dragonstone. They just, like, set themselves up and, like, we're, like, lords of this area, and they sat there for 100 years. And that 100-year period was known as the Century of Blood, because the second that Old Valyria imploded, the rest of Essos also kind of, like, exploded, like, politically and militarily, as everyone, like, started fighting to fill the vacuum that was left when Valyria wasn't there anymore. So it's during that time that Vhagar is born on Dragonstone in 54 BC, and seemingly, we don't know if she had a rider before Visenya, but at some point, Visenya is born, Visenya Targaryen, who is the oldest of the three Targaryen conquerors, because it goes Visenya, Aegon, and then Rhaenys. But Visenya is born, I believe, in 29 BC? Fake dates for the fake, thing, it's fine. It's all made up, everyone chill. But anyway, we learn that Visenya, at some point, before she is married to Aegon, claims Vhagar over here, which, funnily enough, makes Vhagar the youngest of the three Targaryen dragons that would go on to, conquer Westeros. And I just think that's funny because whenever we think of, Vhagar, we think of her as old Mima over here. We don't think of her as, like, the spry dragon that would have been, like, the smallest of the bunch. But though she may be smaller, but still, like, not too small, she would have been, like, 45 around the time of the conquest. Like, she was still pretty big. But Visenya put her to work immediately. One of the first battles that they saw was this battle at sea where the Velaryon fleet, who were on the side of the Targaryens, met the Arryn fleet of, like, House Arryn, up in the Moondor and all that. But they met at sea. The Arryns, just fucked up the Velaryons and their ships and, like, fully, like, beat them. But then Visenya went, like, no. Okay, we're not stopping there. And she, like, flew Vhagar out into the fleet and just burned all the Arryns down themselves. So, like, you win some, you lose some, I guess. Next, Visenya would take Vhagar. Vhagar would then participate in the Field of Fire. This was the big battle where the Lannisters, who were the kings of the Westerlands, King of the Rock, basically teamed up with the Gardeners, who were the kings of the Reach, and they're like, we're gonna team up, we're gonna fight the Targaryens together on this field of wheat, very dry wheat. Again, Field of Fire. You get what happened. Three dragons went whoosh, and the field went whoosh, and all the people on it went, oh, I am not living anymore. Cool. Next, because we're not over with the Arryns, Vhagar had to go prove a point again, and even though the Arryns had, like, fortified themselves in the Eyrie, where there was just, like, armies upon armies, like, at every freaking step, so, like, no one could get to the top, Vhagar went I am dragon high and flew to the very top of the Eyrie and scared the shit out of the regent there, Shara Arryn, but not her son, Ronald, because Ronald saw a dragon and was like, this is sick, and went up to Visenya, and Visenya's, like, playing and talking with him when Shara Arryn, like, sees this, and she's like, okay, yeah, I get it, you guys win, it's fine. But Vhagar would go on to experience many more wars because she is a battle-hardened dragon. She would participate in the First Dornish Wars, which would, of course, include the demise of Meraxes and Rhaenys, the younger, Rhaenys being the youngest of the Targaryen conqueror siblings, and then Meraxes being just one of their she-dragons. Now, interestingly, this leaves Vhagar as the only, like, she-dragon left in the world right now, which is why why most people speculate, all right, I think it is widely speculated, I don't know why it wouldn't be, that most of the Targaryen dragons that we like see during the dance, if not all, are descendant from Vhagar in some way. Because if you just like look at like the timeline, it doesn't really make sense for Meraxes to be the mother of more than like Quicksilver, and Quicksilver, well, don't live to the dance. So I'm sure people disagree in the comments, and that's cool, that's great. I don't know. I think Vhagar is the like matriarch of the Targaryen dragons, which I just think is kind of sick. Eventually, though, because dragons live a long time and people don't, Visenya would pass away at a very old age, one of the older Targaryens, who she got to live a very full life filled with intrigue, and I love her, and she's cool, but she's like, I'm an old lady now, and I'm done. She dies. And then after that, Vhagar does not have another rider for about 30 years, 29 years? She's just like, no, once you've had Visenya, like, why would you want anyone else? Which, like, I get it. So, Vhagar goes and just chills on Dragonstone for a while. I think eventually she does move to the dragon pit that is built in King's Landing, and she just like kind of hangs out and waits until, hey, another person shows up. This is where I should reference the art that I pulled because I think it's fun. I love this artist. I think it's Yoda Sariva. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. But they show like all of Vhagar's riders here. So we started with Visenya, with, you know, the ladies poppin'. Well done. And then next, you get Baelon Targaryen. He is the second son of Jaehaerys. So sorry for your loss. But he is like, hey, my older brother is a dragon rider who is riding Caraxes. I want a dragon, and I want a biggin. So he goes, he claims Vhagar. He's like, this is sick. This is cool. Let's go do war. Let's go do war. Dragons! Ah! And Vhagar's like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm kind of tired, but you know, hey, one more round. What's wrong with that? So Vhagar joins a few battles with Baelon as her rider, and it's all pretty cool and good until, oh no, whoops, Baelon passes away of a mysterious, like, stomach explosion bug thing. It's fishy, that's all I'm saying. But then this leads to another, I want to say like 10-year period where Vhagar goes back to like not having a rider and is like, you know what, nah, I'm over this, I'm over you kids, you crazy kids want to do your weird dragon rider shit. Like, nah, go just do your incest and like chill out, please. Leave me alone, I'm tired. But the kids are like, no, we don't care, we want to be dragon riders and you're the biggin. So next we have Laena Velaryon, who is the child of Rhaenys Targaryen. You'll know her from House of the Dragon. She claims Vhagar, and I think technically becomes like the first non-Targaryen dragon rider in a very long time because she's a Velaryon technically. And like, yeah, she has Targaryen like ancestry. Yes, this is true because of Rhaenys, but like she's not her last name is not Targaryen at this moment. Sorry. People get so weird about this shit. Now, it's at this time that Vhagar gets to be part of a throuple again, which is super exciting because shortly after, well, not shortly after, a few years after Laena claims Vhagar, Laena would go on to marry Daemon Targaryen, and then the two of them would get very close to Daemon's niece, Rhaenyra. And those three, they were the best of friends, roommates you would say, and they just loved to all fly their dragons together. So Rhaenyra on Syrax, Daemon on Caraxes, and Laena on Vhagar, and they would just all fly in the sky and then go home and do puzzles together. Yeah. Not that you would know from House of the Dragon, because House of the Dragon's like, what if lesbian, but only with this person, but actually no. It's fine. It's not, but we're here. But sadly, Laena would pass away in childbirth, and Vhagar would be riderless for a very long time. Actually, no, not at all, because this pissy, and I'm not pointing to Laena, I'm pointing to a pissy little thing next to her, says, hey, your last rider isn't even cold yet. Let me claim Vhagar. And Vhagar's like, what's happening? I'm exhausted. Leave me alone. Visenya, why are you back? Go away. But for whatever reason, Vhagar is like, I don't know, I'm too tired to argue with people. Fine, you're my rider, cool, yeah, hop on. I still take 20 minutes to stand up, so you're gonna have to deal with that now. And here starts the worst period of Vhagar's life, in my opinion, because Vhagar is now old again. By the time that she passes away, she's 181. She is slow moving. She is grown to about like a comparable size to when Balerion was when he passed away. So like big, slow, tired. and little like sociopaths are like, but I want to be cool and be like the war crime dragon rider. Aemond, just stop talking unless you're taking off your clothes. And even then, like, just take off your clothes and be quiet, please. Now, of course, the Dance of the Dragons would break out, and things would not be good for Targaryen dragons in general. There's going to be spoilers for House of the Dragon if you haven't read Fire and Blood, so you can skip now if you want and pretend Vhagar lives a very happy life. But yeah, so Aemond gets Vhagar and is like, hey, I want to do war crimes because, like, I'm pissy. Because after, like, especially after King's Landing is taken, he's like, I'm just going to be a one-man band. I'm going to go to the Riverlands and I'm going to fuck everything up because fuck this shit. And Daemon Targaryen eventually has to be like, okay, we need to, like, take care of this, because this is insane. So eventually, Daemon waits by the God's Eye Lake. Eventually, Vhagar shows up with fucking the Visenya cosplayer on her back, and they have the big battle above the God's Eye, which ends with all 4 of them being dead. Thus ended Vhagar, one of the OG Targaryen dragons in a lake. But anyway, comment, tell me who you want me to talk about next, and I hope you all have a great night. Goodbye!